What is going on, everyone? Platinum Beast coming at you with yet another video. Today we're going to be talking about how platinum is a much easier metal to squeeze than gold and silver. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, guys, so we're talking about squeezing today, right? And first and foremost, I hate that word. Second most, I guess. I don't really like the idea of squeezing a precious metal, so to speak. I think squeezing creates an artificial mindset, an artificial kind of pump and dump scenario, right? It just seems kind of not natural to me. I much rather prefer when precious metals appreciate over time in a natural form than I do a bunch of individuals trying to change the market in their favor, right? So today I'm going to discuss exactly why I think platinum is a much easier metal to squeeze than gold and silver. So the first and most obvious reason is it's much more rare. It's much more harder to come by than gold and silver. And right now there's a silver squeeze going on, and people are trying to squeeze the price of silver and the availability and make things happen within the silver world, right? I think the efforts will become futile, so to speak. That's just what I personally think. Some people really believe in the silver squeeze, but it's just not really on my mind very much, right? It's not something I very much believe in very strongly. And so I'm not a person who is all in on the silver squeeze, right? Now, silver is much easier to squeeze in the idea that it is much lower price, right? So anybody can get in and join the squeeze, so to speak. That's what makes it easy, right? It's similar to what we've seen with GameStop and other cheap, worthless stocks, in that people can get in and buy one or buy a million, and it fits everyone's budget. And so silver does that to a certain extent. Platinum is much harder to buy because it is much more expensive, and you're putting a lot more of your money into something, right? So a lot of people probably shy away from it a bit. But I want to talk about why it's much more easier to squeeze than, say, gold or silver, right? And we're going to focus mainly on the silver squeeze because that's what everyone keeps talking about, and that's what somewhat is going on right now. Now, platinum is much more rare than silver, right? Much more rare. So that should provide an environment where it's easier to squeeze, right? Because you can just buy up all the inventory and buy up all the platinum that's out there and create a market where the price suddenly skyrockets because there's none really available, and what is available, the few individuals selling are looking to sell for hefty profits. So its rarity alone is what would create an environment where it is much easier to squeeze, right? Another thing I want to kind of compare and contrast to silver is its industrial use. This is a vital metal in certain industries. And so certain industries can't go without it. So they'll pay whatever price they have to because otherwise their industry goes belly up. So they need the metal, right? That's another reason why if you wanted to squeeze this metal, it would be a decent one to squeeze. The rarity and the industrial use alone create an environment of extreme need and extreme rarity, right? So anytime you really need something and it's hard to get, the price suddenly will probably go up because everyone's fighting to get it, right? Now, another thing I want to talk about with the squeeze is this metal is mined in places of the world where a lot of things go on, right? And they run into a lot of problems and a lot of troubles and a lot of issues. And so there's a high likelihood that simply things going on in those parts of the world can impact the availability and the mining of this metal, right? So there's a high chance that if platinum was to be squeezed, that if buyers bought up all the inventory and bought shares in platinum contracts and things like that, that not only could the deliveries not be fulfilled on those contracts in platinum, but the places in which this metal is mined could end up in political unrest, civil unrest, all different kinds of things can happen in those places that causes the shortage to be even greater than what it would normally be, right? If the world was a perfect place, this metal is mined in a very few select places of the world, right? So if the world was a perfect place, it already is hard to kind of mine and get to, right? You have to mine it mainly in South Africa and Russia, right? Those are the two main producers of platinum, right? So because it's only mined in a few places, that already limits its supply and availability. But add on top of the fact that it's mined in places where they constantly are running into issues with their mining plants and things like that, that only further gives the impression that this metal should be squeezed over silver. Now, this video is not specifically being put out there to influence you to squeeze platinum. In fact, on the contrary, I mentioned towards the beginning of this video that I am not a fan of the squeezes, right? I don't like the whole idea of squeezing a market just to see insane gains, because those gains are proven to not really last very long. So you really have to change up your whole strategy of what you're doing with the metals if there was a squeeze that did occur in the market that you are currently in, right? You would have to really kind of debate and think about it, whether or not you want to sell what your holdings are or just ride it on out all the way to the end. So overall, guys, I really just kind of wanted to make this video talking about how platinum is the metal to squeeze if you're going to squeeze a metal. At the same time, I don't like squeezing metals. So don't take this video and say, oh, Platinum Beast says squeeze platinum, it's time to buy up. I mean, I am always saying buy, if you can or if you see fit. But at the same time, squeezing any market to see insane gains is just not smart. It's just not smart investing, and it's just not a smart way to go about trying to, get people on board. The silver squeeze, I would consider somewhat of a sort of movement, right? People believe in that kind of mindset, and they believe in that idea behind it, right? That's okay. I'm not hating on people. Everyone is able and free to think and choose what they believe and what they think. But at the same time, it does kind of boggle my mind why they chose silver over platinum. The only reason I can really come to is the fact that silver is much more obtainable for those in a lower budget place in life, right? Maybe they don't have enough money to buy platinum, so they just chose to do it with silver, right? If they can get silver to $100 an ounce, that's awesome, right? They could have gotten platinum to $5,000 an ounce, but silver is probably easier to get more people on board because you can appease a vast, wider audience due to the fact that it is still a low-cost metal, even though it is higher than we've seen in previous years or recent previous years. But yeah, guys, that's my take on platinum and how it could be squeezed, and it's a better prospect for squeezing. I don't suggest squeezing. I don't promote squeezing. I don't like it, but wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on it anyways. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, guys. Be sure to check out my other videos. I talk a lot about platinum as well as other precious metals. Thank you to all my loyal followers for stopping by and checking out my video today. Be sure to hit that like button down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Leave me a comment in the comment section down below letting me know what your thoughts are on the silver squeeze and could platinum be squeezed and things like that. I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your comments, so leave them down below. And until next time, guys, we will see ya.